What's up, everybody? Welcome to a quick video on the Bulgarian split squat. Bulgarians are an extremely effective exercise, but there's a lot of confusion as to exactly how to approach them. There are two really big differences between how you want to load a Bulgarian. So loading it on one side is going to develop stability. Loading it with both sides is for hypertrophy and strength. However, if you have not progressed from body weight unilaterally loading into bilaterally loading, then you're just hiding and burying imbalances, and you're not developing the hip trunk stability that you need in order to progress this movement and really transfer that into a safe back squat, safe barbell deadlift, any of these gross motor movements where hip and spine stability is incredibly important. All right, so let's talk setup for the Bulgarian. Setup is where a lot of people just start out wrong at the gate. They start from this position, they try to hold a dumbbell and get their foot in position, and then they sink into the squat, and it's potentially not even a good position to load the hips, glutes, everything like that. So what I like people to start with, just body weight. Start in the kneeling position, get your foot up on whatever you're using for support, and then load this leg. You should feel before you even drive up out of it whether or not you're loading this leg appropriately. So it's gonna look something like this. Drive up out of it, good stable foot, sink back into it, and back up. All right, so let's talk loading the Bulgarian. Before you ever load the Bulgarian on either side, you want to ask yourself, am I stable with just body weight? And the way to think about that is put your hands right here, form a box. As you go through the movement like so, are you nice and aligned the entire time? You're not shifting, your pelvis isn't shifting, your spine's not twisting, anything like that. Then you can look at loading always unilaterally at first, because that's going to develop the stability that you can then transfer to loading on both hands. So you're gonna start in the bottom position, like I said before. You're gonna have ipsilaterally loaded. So that means the leg that's up front, that's pressing you up off the ground, is the leg that's working. Grab the dumbbell on that same side. What this is going to be doing is the glute med and then the QL, the quadratus lumborum, they're stabilizing your pelvis and your spine throughout this movement. You're going to grab it in this hand right here. Remember, nice and stable here, and drive up out of it. Again, this is ipsilaterally loading. You also have contralaterally loading, which I'll show you in 1 second here. All the way up, all the way down. Same thing, make sure that you have a good stable pelvis, a good stable spine, everything is in alignment. Moving on to a slightly different loading parameters, contralaterally. So the leg that's, again, pushing you up off the ground, and now during this movement, the contralaterally loaded, it's going to be in your left hand or the opposite hand. So same thing here. What the benefit of this is going to be, it's going to be involving a whole bunch of different muscles to stabilize your trunk, including your external obliques. But in reality, how we apply this is you progress through them over time. So good position here, and stable all the way through the spine, trunk, pelvis, and drive up out of it. Sink back into it, and repeat. And finally, once you have mastered loading unilaterally on both sides, now you can move into the strength and hypertrophy loading on both sides. However, you have to make sure that you have mastered and you are stable throughout unilaterally loading in order to make sure that you're not just burying and imbalancing, you're not just letting dysfunction eventually rear its head. So you want to get into that. So again, start in the bottom position. Make sure that that is nice and stable. And then brace and drive out of it. This is going to be the most simple for people, and that's why they fall. They typically will do this one because now you don't have to stabilize side to side. However, this is an amazing developer for your glutes, quads, everything. All the way down and drive back out of it. Make sure that you are focusing on pushing the ground away from you with that front leg. So you may be wondering, with all these different loading techniques, how does this practically apply to you? How do you get better at the Bulgarian and allow that to transfer over to the bigger gross motor movements? So what I always start people with is just body weight. You have to get comfortable in just body weight position before you try to add the stimulus of instability from side to side. Then I always start body weight, ipsilateral. So again, the same leg that's down and pushing you up is the one that the weight's in. Then move to the other side, contralateral, and then you can load bilaterally.